Mate, Chelsea week, episode 3. We are back. How are you? You all right?
Yeah, I'm all right, mate. Tired.
Yeah. It looked like you looked slightly more brighter than last week. Maybe there's some new kit in the background, is there?
Maybe.
Yeah, a little sneaky bit. Well, you got yourself a cheeky Friday drink?
Always. Up the
What have you
gin.
gone? Bloody hell, what's that?
Gone for rhubarb gin.
Rhubarb.
Up the gin.
Mate,
Cheers.
that's very Chelsea, isn't it? Very Chelsea. Rhubarb gin. That's really tough. Anyway, look, third week. Can you believe it? We're back. First week live.
Yeah.
And
do not swear. It's not 9 o'clock. It's not 9 o'clock. Keep the profanities to a minimum.
I was going to do that horrible thing that Martin Tyler does. I hate that. Do you hate that when he goes, and it's live? I just hate that on Sky Sports. To be honest with you, the worrying thing is that I think it's Norwich-Watford, isn't it?
I've got it on.
And look, I think Norwich-Watford, if that's going to be more appealing than watching us, I think, which is tragic to say. But I think they've made a mistake. The people who aren't tuning in, they've made a massive mistake. Basically, we've doubled our viewers this week.
Have we?
Yeah, we've literally gone from the dizzy heights. 1,000 people viewed the show.
Shut up.
They did. I clicked 400 of those, but 1,000 viewed the show.
I did about 5.
I don't know why I got this pencil. It's my new sort of conducting thing. Including Jason Cundy retweeted due to the fact that you're like pals with him and all that, but still, he reached out and said it was worth a watch.
Did we genuinely get 1,000?
1,000 people tuned in, honestly. And I did a check. I have checked, and I think only 825 of them were linked to my family. So I think if you view it as that, it's pretty impressive. I was really taken aback. And then I put together this studio as well, which is pretty naff. I mean, that shirt's falling down in 15 seconds. And that is one of the... You can't see that. I'm going to bring that closer. That is that famous game when Chelsea played a Russian side in 1945. 140,000 people watched it. Yeah. 3-3. So let's get cracking. Loads to talk about.
Yep.
What's that?
100,000 plastic fans.
Yeah, fake fans they were. Yeah, they would have all had the rattles. They would have. I bet everyone was telling them that you can't sing about Tottenham. Can't sing about Tottenham, mate. We're not playing Tottenham. We're playing the Russian side. Can't have a rattle. Can't do any of that. No. Are you taking a photo? Well, they wouldn't have had a camera. It would have probably knocked someone out, wouldn't it? But we're back anyway. I'm going to go through it's a tough week. We'll get on to that. What do you think of the kit?
Love
1991.
91 in it? 1990.
What do you think about when you see this kit? I'll put you on the spot here.
My first game, 1990. First time I ever went to not my first football match, my first time at Chelsea. 2-0 up against Sheffield United. Stood in the shed with my dad. Kevin Wilson scored 2. Up to Kevin Wilson. Yeah. We drew 2-2. Of course we did.
Of course we did, yeah. That's standard. By the way, who were you going to see before Chelsea?
My first ever game match was Leyton Orient 2, Wigan Athletic 4.
Nice.
Leyton Orient's about 15, 20-minute drive door to door, from me. My dad decided with about 5 minutes before half time to go and get himself and me something to eat and drink. Approximately 4.5 minutes before half time, I realised at 4 years of age I was on my own in a football ground. So I got scared, went down the steps looking for him, couldn't find him, was about this big. And there was an announcement on the tannoy that there was some little pussy kid who had lost his dad.
Oh, no, it's you, yeah. Did you have to stand on the counter? Like, I once got lost in Marks and Spencer's and I had to stand on the counter. It was really tragic. And my mum did that thing that mums always do, where they pretend that they really missed you and they're so pleased to see you. And then they get around the corner and they give you a right old belting. So, don't ever go again. And I was like, hold on a minute. You were going, oh, I'm so pleased to see you. It's all rubbish. Well, the thing that reminds me is, first thing is, I think it's the year Dennis Wise signed.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Just a little bit of reality in our current situation, because it is a bit of a difficult week. I had a look back at this season just to see how we started. You wouldn't believe this, but in the first 5 games, could you imagine this now? In the first 5 games, we had lost 3 times, and 3 of those 3 of those, unbelievably, were London derbies. We had lost to Palace.
Palace.
Yeah. God, if you get this right. If you get this right, I'd be impressed.
It's not. Oh, hang on. We lost to Tottenham in '89, so it weren't Tottenham.
No, it's like they're not in that. One of them isn't in the league.
QPR.
QPR, and the other one we always lost to in those days.
Arsenal.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, a bit of perspective.
What year? 1991.
Yeah.
Fact.
Right, here we go. Stat man.
Arsenal lost 1 game that season.
Yeah, they were champions.
In Invincibles, however many, 12 years before they were. Up to Graham Stewart.
Yeah, 2-1. Chelsea beat them. Fantastic. Right, let's go on to our week because we've got loads to go through. I mean, ideally, I would have gone live for the first time when we played Juve at home and then smashed Leicester on the road, because then we could have gone, up with Chelsea, we're going to be champions and all going to be a lot easier. But the reality is, it is what it is. Look, let's briefly touch on City, your thoughts and takeaways and concerns. I mean, me personally, they're a bloody good side. They're the benchmark in the league. I'm not going to lose much sleep over it, to be honest. If you thought we were going to go to City and have 95% of the ball, 75% of the ball, you're absolutely bonkers. What was your thoughts?
City. Now I've had time to reflect. First and foremost, I wasn't at the game. I was at work. No. I've watched the whole game since the whole game because I'm a football anorak. And here's my thoughts on City. We actually did all right.
Yeah, we did. We had some chances, some key areas.
Kepa made a save, back post header from a centre half, comfortable. They got in behind, in behind wide 3-4 times. That was it.
Yeah.
Very, 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 very similar to the Champions League final. Yes, we were better in the Champions League final, but we had one chance which was clearly worked on in training, where Lukaku got in behind and he had a shot and he was 1-on-1. Very, 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 very similar to the move-ish that led to the Kai's goal. If he scores that, if he bends that beyond the keeper, which it's not a bad miss, but you'd expect it was easier for the goalkeeper than you'd have wanted it to be. We go 1-0 up.
No, absolutely.
It's not that bad. We're playing at the moment without, in my head, the 2 most key players in our whole side, James and Chilwell. Without them, when we get the ball wide, we look backwards. With them, when we get the ball wide, we look forwards. It's as simple as that.
Yeah, no, that's fine. That's a good point. I mean, at the end of the day, we had key areas in key parts of the game, and look, football's always been about moments, isn't it? And the better the side, the less moments you had. And we haven't taken them chances and our moments in games. And actually, to be honest with you, I don't know. Maybe this is a bit harsh, and some people haven't started talking about it. But I just think one of the criticisms of TT, just one of them, I think he could make changes earlier in football matches. I just don't see how you can carry on watching that for 70 minutes and not think I need to hook one of those front 3, 2 of those front 3. Mourinho might have had them all off. He went mental once. I think he hooked all 3 off once.
Yeah, Fulham away in the 30th minute. He took. What did he take? Joe Cole off? Or did he bring him on?
He did. Yeah,
brought off the 2 wide men in about 33 minutes. I'm not going to criticise a man. Like, we're talking about 1991 losing to QPR, Palace, and Arsenal in the first 3 games. We won the European Cup. Like, we're 3rd in the league. Yes, it's been a bit shit. But he's a genius. The guy's a genius. And
we had loads of comments, by the way, coming in. Look, PD Blues, give it a listen. Cheers, Joy. And this is my mate I went to Brighton with. This is my mate. I mean, that is what I expect. That is unbelievable. He was drunk at Brighton. He's drunk today. That's superb. I'm drunk and just got home. That's superb. Also, I would just say, credit to this guy. I need to speak about him briefly. He's got two of the most diehard football fans I've ever met. Like, they make me feel like I was a fake Chelsea fan. Like, I actually felt fake. I felt nervous talking to them. He hasn't missed a game, home and away, since 2000. One game, home and away.
Who?
The guy called Kevin and his dad, Brian. Rich goes with them. Kevin's on Twitter. I'll make sure I put his handle out. He should be following him. No one knows about Chelsea more than him. It's outrageous. Outrageous. Oh. He literally knows everything.
I'll have a Chelsea off with him.
Oh, it's a tough day at the office, right?
It's a tough random things in here, mate.
No, that geezer was impressive. His dad had been to 2,000 Chelsea games. 2,000 Chelsea, and Rich is their friend. And Rich basically does the drinking for them. He does the drinking and sings the songs, and them two are diehards. But actually, Rich decided it'd be a good idea on the day to sing the full-blown Robert Fleck song from 1 to 11.
One is Robert Fleck. Number 2 is Robert Fleck.
Honestly, did it in the Brighton end. You could have seen the faces there. Everyone's like, "Who's Robert Fleck?"
Who's Robert Fleck? Come on.
Yeah, I know what I said, but the average age in that, to be honest with you, it's fantastic. Look, there's absolutely loads of comments. I think there is a way. I wish
can't see any, by the way. I can't see any, so
there is a way for them to be scrolling across the bottom, but it's first week. I'm learning on the job. Do you know what I mean? I have been told how to do this, but I'm disappointed with myself, to be honest. But it is what it is. We can't. I can't get him to. I can't get him to scroll across, so we just leave it as it is. I can't deal with the pressure. I'll just bring them up as and when. So look, I'm not too worried about the City. The fact of the matter is, always going to be a tough ask. I do think TT should probably lean towards making some subs a bit earlier. If I'm honest, I've noticed that a couple of times. He's quite prudent with his changes. He tends to sit on the fence, and I can see that he's thinking the games we're not out of control. We're not doing things wrong. But I just think it was very evident that the three lads up top weren't having a good day. I mean, it doesn't mean that they're bad players. They just weren't having a very good day. We're
still talking City.
Yeah, in terms of City, yeah.
Right. This is where I'll be honest without criticising. The 3 players that we have on the bench are better than the 3 players that we have on the pitch. That's what I don't get.
Yeah.
And that's my opinion. I'm sure there'll be others that are like, there's a lot of love for Pulisic. Up to Pulisic, but for me, Kai Havertz has had COVID about 15 times. Like he needs a run of games. He needs to get himself fit. Perhaps us not playing many games, like domestic wise, might do him a favour. Timo Werner, let's be honest. He's like me in front of goal. I'm a centre half. I don't know what I'm doing, but he causes defenders problems, and he has to play. He's got to play because he's the only one that gets the ball and runs forward and tries to commit a man.
Yeah,
Mason Mount has to play. Give him the ball on the heart. He's the best player in our whole side at taking the ball with his back to goal and half turn, and he's gone. And when he doesn't play, all the players that we play up front, Ziyech, Lukaku, whatever, they get the ball, they go back. They get the ball, they go back. Turn. Yeah. Hold the Lukaku. You're built like a brick shithouse. Play like it.
Yeah. Well, it's got the Emil Heskins about it.
John Stones is built like a pencil. Lukaku is built like a fucking semi-detached house.
Yeah.
How are you losing eight challenges in the air to him? He's about this wide. Fucking smash him.
All right, slow down. Jesus.
There's my rant.
Yeah, well, that old rhubarb gin's got a bit of kick about it, hasn't it? You already started punching fists and everything.
Mate, do you know what? I can take losing 1-0.
You have YouTube on me telling me about what's this violent assault.
Losing 1-0 to Man City, can take losing 1-0 at Carrow Road, as long as we come off the pitch and every player has given a 10 out of 10 for effort, and they didn't. Some of them didn't. And that's the one thing that winds me up. Not losing a game, not drawing 1-0 at Brighton, coming off the pitch and not giving 101% and accepting drawing at Brighton and accepting losing. Oh, it's Man City. They're a good side. Yeah, they're a good side, but you beat them. You beat them 7 months ago in a game that counted, by the way.
Yeah, the only one that counted. Yeah. I mean, to be honest, we'll move on to Brighton. I mean, there's a couple of things. I mean, I live quite close to Brighton, so there's a couple of things that I do like. I loved, right? First of all, Brighton subsidise the train travel within a certain area for anyone with a match ticket, home and away. I mean, that is big up to Brighton for that. They go as far as Lewis, down to Horsham or whatever, and you can get there for free on the train with your match ticket. So I think that is fair play. Yeah, they've also got the best pies at the away ground, and they will run Norwich close on this. I'll go to Norwich and I'll do a full research on this. I will not cut corners, but they have a nice pie. They do have good pies.
I went to the game. Do you remember where we scored like 2 worldies? I think Willian scored. It was Willian, Hazard. I can't remember. Was it Pedro? The 3 of them. What a Batshuayi.
Yeah, they weren't too bad, those 3, were they, in the end?
I didn't have a pie. I didn't know. If I'd have known, I'd have had a pie.
Yeah, no, exactly. Well, I mean, the Brighton game, look, I'll just touch on this. I mean, first and foremost, that's when I went with my friend Rich and his their Statman pals. I mean, they just knew everything. I mean, they're the kind of guys that knew to go to the Brighton Student Union for a drink. Like, they just didn't got the inside track. They were in there. It was very civilized. You could have a beer. There was no vile students or anything. It was fine.
How much was a beer in the student union?
Yeah, we got 3 pints for £9.
Oh,
yeah. Well, that's why Rich, the guy, piped up to buy me around, because he knew I'd have to get him in the ground at £7 a pint.
Of course he did.
Oh, yeah. He was, I'll quickly get those, and he jumped over his mate Kev to get to the bar. So, but yeah, no, it was fantastic. It was awesome. But look, in terms of the game, in some respects, I would say that's Chelsea's worst performance of the season. Look, now I'm not worried about results, and we could have got beaten 3-0, but in terms of overall 90 minutes, it was up there with Watford. But Watford, we had some cutting edge, and Kai Havertz had a good game on the day, and so did Mount on the day. But I mean, it was really diabolical, Brighton. It was really bad.
Wolves. Did you go to Wolves?
No, I didn't go to Wolves. But no, I couldn't see Wolves. That was the one that was misty. No one can see that, so I can't tell you if it's good or bad.
We were rank at Wolves, absolutely. Yeah. But then we
did have about 30 people out. We didn't even have real fans. We had to draft in fake fans because they all had COVID. So everything that day was mental.
I'll tell you how bad Wolves was. In the car this just sums up that day. In the car on the way up, we left where I lived probably at about 8:30. About 2.5 hour drive. Game's at 2:00. Get there for 11. Lovely. So we'll have a couple of hours in the pub. We're on the way up. Twitter's popping off. Like, where's all the away fans? And it's a pub called, oh God, let's call it I think it was the Blue Post, something like that. And sat in the car. I get the pub up. Like, we're about 20 miles away, 20 minutes away. My battery is draining. So Gemma sat next to me in the car, says, I'll do it. I've got loads of battery. She sticks the Blue Post pub in. Like, we're still 20 miles away, 20 minutes away until we get to the pub. And it turns out that she's put the wrong Blue Post in. The pub is shut. It looks like it's been shut since about 1981. It's derelict, it's boarded up. And it turns out we're in the Blue Posts in Dudley. And we are now 1 hour from Wolverhampton. Good fucking nightmare. We got there.
God.
We got there like for kickoff. I think I had about half a pint, had to leave the pub. Game kicked off, couldn't see a thing, and we were shite.
Well, to be honest with you, a couple of people have made some comments actually. We got Marlin Magic. He's come out and said, no, Everton was our worst game. I can't really remember Everton. They made it 1-1 at the death, didn't they? That was at home, wasn't it? I mean, to be honest with you, that was another shocking game. Yeah, that's a good point.
Everton was
look at this. I've got another guy here, Philip McDermott, -20 here in Boston, lads, up the Celtics. I came home to watch you. So, I mean, that's pretty cool. I mean, that's some dedication in itself, isn't it? Some lovely...
I can't see any of these. So who's that?
Philip McDermott. Why can't you see them?
Because I haven't got my lenses in.
Okay, excellent. Oh, well, you are prepared. You are prepared as ever. I mean, I've put this whole set together. You know what I mean? This is taking me hours to do this. You know, I've been knocking up little pictures.
If it's the same Phil McDermott, there's a Phil McDermott. He's a really good lad.
Well, he is a good guy. He is a good guy because he's tuned in, isn't he? And he's helping us out. So that's nice. Rich has commented loads. I'll keep an eye on these. I will find a way for them to scroll across the bottom once I learn how to be not such a loser. But look, the thing about Brighton is it was really disappointing. The things that really frustrate me about games that when we don't capitalise is work rate and effort. And I do harp on about this a lot. And I am a little bit old school in that sense because I was always taught, and when I played football on all right level or whatever, people used to say, look, you know, put it in, be a nuisance and work hard. And to be honest with you, they are the fundamentals around football that still remain the same. John Terry would have grown up under that culture of working hard, leave nothing on the pitch. And I just think in the modern day, that isn't the way necessarily. But I do feel that we do need some fresh faces. We need to change it and mix it up. I think, if I'm honest with you, over the two games, Brighton were probably the better side.
Yeah.
They edged it, more than edged it. And
that's not even up for debate. Their manager, by the way, their manager, for me,
great manager.
Their manager will replace Gareth Southgate whenever Gareth Southgate decides it's time for him to be replaced.
Shall I tell you another interesting fact about Brighton Stadium? Not only do they pay for you to get there free, so they're encouraging you to drink. They're basically saying, don't drive, drink. We're paying for you. Have a beer. Don't be so pathetic. Yes, it's Tuesday night and you got work. Who cares? It's been COVID. You haven't been out of the house in 2 years. Get hammered. So I got to the ground. Appalling game. Going to moan myself all the way home on public transfer. Massive queues and all the rest of it. Next thing you know, I noticed a couple of Chelsea with pints. I was like, what's going on here? Anyway, bars all open in the ground. You stay for an hour afterwards, lads. Have a couple of beers if you want. So the Chelsea we just stayed and had a couple of pints. Absolute best thing about the whole night. Singing songs. Then we watched everyone go home.
It's all right. Yeah, all right for you. You've only got like a 20-minute.
Well, there's a few of us local, to be fair. You know what it's like this day and age. There's a few people who lived a bit local, but there must have been 40. There's a couple of guys I met for the first time. They're from Tooting and things. They were staying in Brighton. And you know what the Chelsea are like. They pushed their luck. You know, the bar was open for half hour or so, 45 minutes after. We somehow were like, come on, love, just give us one more. But that was fantastic. And to be honest with you, as a away day, it was a crazy. It didn't feel like the best away day in terms of noise. It was a bit flat. Chelsea's performance stunned the crowd. I think Chelsea. Well, you know, normally when we're singing and really celebrating the whole way through, we got one eye on the game, but we're enjoying it.
Yep.
Actually, the Chelsea fans were more like this.
Wow. Mate, I have to admit, I was sat there. First 5 minutes, I thought, oh, we're all right. We're doing all right here. We've got a lot of the ball. We're popping it about. From about the 10th minute until about the 80th minute, we were pony. Right? We were dreadful. Absolutely dreadful.
Got so many cool people on here. I'm from the bush, grew up with Dennis Wise, Eddie Newen, Les Ferdinand. He knows all them. Nice touch.
Sir Les.
Sir Les. What a midfield. Dennis Wise, Townsend. Well, Townsend were the player of the season, I think, this season when this was thing. And actually, this is interesting as well. Dennis Wise in his debut season, I think, he got 12 goals. This is this whole thing about settling into football team. I don't know where this has come from. This is a new narrative in the new day. Oh, he just needs to bed in. He needs to bed in. Not if you know what you're doing, you don't.
Bollocks. Get on the pitch.
Costa took about 15 minutes. Costa went smashing into someone on his debut, scored on his debut, and then he was just like militant. He was off and running. Gordon Jury was top scorer in this season with 15 goals, and then it was Kerry Dixon.
What did I tell you about using foul and abusive language before 9 o'clock?
What's that? Jury.
Come off.
We're definitely going to talk about that again. But my point being, it's a really good one. How many players for Chelsea this season are going to get into double figures? And the reason why we've come up short is as simple as that. As away from wing backs not being fit and all the rest of it, I get it. But goals win games, they save games, they bail you out. and we have not got enough in our side. It's as simple as that. It's no point dressing it up, isn't it? You've got all these people on Twitter going, "Oh right, he doesn't pass it to him, and he hasn't got the XG." And look, mate, turn it in.
Mate, it drives me mad.
What are you going on about XG? I can tell you if it's a good chance or not. I've been long enough. I'll tell you if it's a sitter.
It is a good chance, but it's not a good chance because it's at the feet of Callum, or it's at Ziyech is on his right foot, or Lukaku's on his right foot. It's like
what Hudson-Odoi now.
I'll tell you, we get double figures plus this season. Mount will get double figures this season. He's on 7 already. He will get double figures.
Yeah,
and Jorginho, if we get another 5 penalties.
Well, Jorginho's probably there. Lukaku, does he get there?
Fuck him off.
Yeah, no. Another thing I noticed about Callum Hudson-Odoi, and someone will probably make a comment about this. I've noticed more and more. I mean, he's a young lad, so I'll give him a bit of time. So it's not me giving him a load of grief. But one thing I have noticed is he almost sometimes looks like a wing attack at netball. It's like he can only play in certain zones. It's like he sort of gets to an area and there's like an electric fence, which is by the byline. And he goes, "Hey, I ain't going there. Hold on, I'm just going to go back." And he's very good at doing that. But then I think to myself, just go past him, run at him, take him on. And again, he goes, "Whoa, I don't fancy this." This happens quite a lot with Callum Hudson-Odoi. It's a confidence thing, but I think he's playing a bit scared. Like he's worried about not doing anything wrong. And that's a really, really difficult place to play football as a winger.
It is. Listen, I'm not a negative person, certainly not about Chelsea. I try not to be about anything, but we're not. Listen, we're not. We've lost 3 games in about the last 28. We haven't lost in 25. It's not that bad. Tuchel has tried Pulisic, Hudson-Odoi, Alonso, Azpilicueta, Sarr, God knows how many others at wing back, and it's not their position. Alonso can play there, but he's got no pace. So we're hampered. We're hampered down the left side. Very good player. People give him dog's abuse. Marcus Alonso is a class player, but he's probably about 2 years away from being more suited to soccer aid than he is the Premier League. And it's at an alarming rate in terms of his pace. Put the ball at his feet. Watford, the assist, amazing. Brighton, he took a touch.
Yeah, he's a cultured footballer. He just can't run.
He whipped the ball across that the goalkeeper parried. Like his touch and the cross, class. He can't run. So what would you do if you're Tuchel? You've got the wide areas of the pitch, and we've got players like Hudson-Odoi, Werner, Mount, Havertz, Pulisic. None of them are wing backs. They're not wing backs. So we either go 4 at the back, which he's done, and we beat Tottenham twice comfortably, played well. It's Tottenham. We will beat them again on Sunday because they are Tottenham and we are Chelsea. But it's not doom and gloom. Like people that suggest that the season's rubbish and we haven't replaced Hazard and blah, blah, blah. How can you replace Hazard? It's probably the best player I've ever watched at Chelsea. Yeah. We're not.
Well, they're generation players. It's very difficult to do, isn't it? I mean, I think one thing I would say about that, to counteract that, a guy called Jamie Clevery, he's a good guy off Twitter, who just said, "Evening, Ben and Scotty. For me, the attitude and body language in the Brighton game was annoying and very frustrating.
Yes.
Have to iron that out and cut it out on Sunday." And to be honest with you, I sort of sympathise with that. I'm not a big, as you know, I'm a positive Chelsea fan, as we all are. And I think everyone who's following us on here tonight, there's some really good Chelsea fans. And wherever you are, this whole sort of narrative, I've never been one who buys into proper goes to the game and proper doesn't. Proper's the one who knows how to support the club and knows how to back players and believe in them and give the younger players time. What I haven't got time for is people not running for the badge, not respecting their opportunity to play for this amazing elite level Chelsea and not putting it in on a football pitch. And at times, the attitude and the body language, which is you have to be careful with tiredness. But that narrative of tiredness gets boring in the press because obviously other fans think, well, why are you always moaning about being tired? We're tired too. But the actual stats do bear out. Chelsea have played, since the international break, Chelsea have played more football than any single side. They've played 2 more than the next, which actually is Liverpool, strangely enough. And then it's actually Tottenham with 4. Tottenham played 4, maybe 3, 5 or 4 less games. Now, if you think about that over that period at the end of November, that's a game a week, in effect, December as well. That's going to take its toll. That will take its toll, no question.
Of course it is.
I saw attitude was shit at times.
The other day. I might have even been today. I saw something similar. Chelsea have played a game since, I think, November the 1st. Chelsea have played a game every 3.8 days. So basically 2 a week. Brighton, Burnley have played one every 8.8 days. So every 9 days. And then obviously there's loads.
Did you just do an 8.8? My God, you're taking stat. That's like Carol Vorderman stuff. That's proper stat. He's got 8.8 out. That's I'm going to get a point. Next week, I'm getting a point out. I love it. It's impressive.
You've totally ruined it now. I don't even know what I was going to say.
8.8. It's easy. You carry on. The games.
Burnley have played about 4 games in about 3 months. There you go. You've ruined it. You've ruined it.
Oh, don't be so silly. Don't be so negative. One thing is, look at this. What about this for a comment? What about this for a comment, which I think is a valid one? Lukaku.
Oh, I can see it. It's the first one I can see.
Spinner net. Lukaku has destroyed the morale in the team, in my opinion. My God, I read it like I'm 7 years old. 1 game on the bench wasn't enough, and for discrediting the club and the teammates. Personally, to answer his question, well, look, there's lots of people in agreement with that. My problem isn't him playing. My problem is him playing if he's playing poorly. So if he played those 5 games and he was playing well and he was putting it in, and I felt he was trending in the right direction, I'm happy for him to play a football match. Whatever he's done, like, it is disrespectful, but we need to get on with it. It's £100 million. He's not £100 million worth, but he's a massive asset. He's bought for a lot of money, and we're not going to sell him in January, so he has to play. But my problem more is in those 5 games, and including Chesterfield, which is, by the way, I mean, I could have played in that game and not looked rubbish.
That is bollocks. No, I'm joking.
It's not bollocks. I would have at least put it about. I mean, I would have been sent off for a 2-footed tackle, but I would have put it about. And my point is, in the last 5 games, he's been really under. I mean, he does. I really agree with Spinner Net there that his attitudes, it doesn't look great, does it?
No. Well, look, you were there. I watched the game on telly. On telly, you could see 3 or 4 times in the first half, it zoomed in on his face. He was having a go at people. He had a go at Ziyech. Ziyech played a bad pass out to the right. Lukaku took a crap touch and it went out of play, as per. And he turned around and blamed Ziyech. And it's like, yeah, it was a bad pass. But if you had a right foot, you'd have kept it in play and then you wouldn't have been having a go at him. As they walked off at half time, it zoomed in. Ziyech is talking like this. And Lukaku's having a right dig at him. And it's like, do you know what, mate? You shouldn't be having a go at anyone. You should be out on the pitch, keeping your mouth shut, banging in goals, or at least giving the centre halves a hard time. Their centre back was about 8'2". Like, if you can't beat him on the air, beat him on the floor.
Well, actually, are you talking about Burns?
Yeah, good. And by the way, their other centre half reminds me of me.
Webster.
His ability to carry the football out of the back at full speed is like watching me on a Sunday.
Yeah, I can on a bubbly pitch before you pull a hammy. Yeah. Just to say, someone's asking why are you drinking rosé, and it's a valid point.
That's as if that's rosé.
Rhubarb, gin, and rosé. That's going to be banned in. This is like a pub atmosphere. You wouldn't get away with that at Chelsea. You don't get away with it here. You've got to come with hardcore Peronis. You know what I mean? I'm only having one though because I'm out golfing at 8 a.m. tomorrow, so I'm only having a couple. Because I need to get in the motor and try not to duck hook it into a hedge off the first tee. Look, to be honest with you, their play, all in all, to summarise, Brighton wasn't good enough. Over 2 games, they were better than us. They're well coached. They're playing with some direction, and there's no doubt about it. For me, they're like a centre forward away from being a club that would be up there with like the Villas in terms, you know.
No, they're above Villa. They're better than Villa.
Yeah, no, but I'm just saying Villa probably have a bit more potential with the money they have. I'm just saying Brighton have the makeup to be comfortably 7th, 8th, 9th in the table regularly. And I think they would run it close. Let's move on to the dreaded game. This is our third game in 19 days. It's a fourth game actually, but we played them 3 times in 19 days. I actually cannot talk about them anymore this season. I've done my preview. Done my preview tomorrow. I'm actually scared if we get them in the cup, I'm not going to do a preview. I can't talk about Tottenham anymore. It's driving me mental. I actually don't even want to watch Tottenham anymore. It's not even that exciting now for some reason.
Mate, Will, listen, I said it a couple of times before. I'll say it again now. And this is not me trying to be funny. This is just me being a realist. Tottenham is shit.
Yeah.
Like, we will beat Tottenham. Tottenham, they won at Leicester the other day because Leicester have a centre half that for the last 15 months has been diabolical. He stunk the Euros out for Turkey. He cost them 2.5 goals the other night. And Peter Schmeichel, Kasper Schmeichel, if he'd have come out and kicked the ball away like any other goalkeeper would have done, we wouldn't be panicking about Tottenham. They will not win 4 games out of 4 because they haven't done it for years. And we'll be fine. We'll win the game. They will score. We haven't let a goal in against them in the couple. They will score. We'll win 2 or 3-1. It'll be easy. There you go. Easy.
Okay. I mean, I personally think, have you seen, obviously they've got quite a few games in hand on us. And look, I know you're down the whole narrative that I personally think it's quite tough to beat any side 3 times in a row in a short space, 4 times in a row if you like, in a short space of time. We've done that. It is 6-0 on aggregate, so I would suggest us to get the job done. The only thing I was really alarmed about, and I'm sorry most of the Chelsea will be aware of this, but I didn't realise that Tottenham, it creeps up on you, poor form, doesn't it? Because I know you're very much a big believer that we've only lost once in 25 games. But the reality is, if you have 10 games and you win, lose all of them, you pick up more points than you do if you draw so many. So, that is the concern. And if Tottenham win their games in hand, which they won't do because they've got difficult games, but unbelievably, Tottenham would be above us on points. Could you believe that? I couldn't believe it when I saw that earlier.
Well, mate. No, I can't, to be honest. And
stunned. I was stunned. I literally couldn't believe it. We've obviously dipped in form drastically. Do you think, I'll ask you this question, do you think there's any danger, and I want to hear from the comments as well, do you think there's any danger this is more than tiredness and there is a problem in aspects in the dressing room based on, I know, if people nitpicking on the celebrations, but attitude, camaraderie? Is there a problem, a bigger picture problem, or are we very much just going to say everyone's knackered and we'll be flying again in 2 weeks? No pressure.
I think that there's more to the Lukaku interview. Not like that, not the interview. I think there's more to the Lukaku situation than we know. Yeah. I think that you've probably got your Azpilicuetas, your Jorginhos, your Rudigers, probably to a degree like Mount, like as in the players that proper care, like really care. The senior players that have probably gone to him and said, like, what the hell are you doing? I have heard that he's fallen out with a couple. And if it's one, it's not good. And I think Tuchel, is surprising that Tuchel came out and said what he did, which was true. Mm-hmm. But usually managers protect their players, don't they? If someone misses a chance or doesn't do a job, they don't talk about it. He's talked about it. I think there's more than meets the eye, and that's what worries me. What doesn't worry me is the ability of the players. We just need to get through. Ultimately, I just want us to beat Tottenham. I couldn't care less how. It is a big game. It's a massive game now. And they will be bang up for it. But I thought that when they come to our place 2 weeks ago and when we went to their place a week ago, and they weren't. So let's see what happens. But get it out of the way and have the break. We need a break.
Yeah. I mean, my take on it, I think someone's just raised it there. It's a combination of both. I think that's a valid point. I do like the comments, actually. I should use them more. They've been really helpful tonight. Thank you for everyone who's got involved. Apart from my mate Rich, who keeps on going, Lukaku is the man. Hot. Golf is for losers. Sorry, guys. My girlfriend's here. Why are you drinking rosé? Redders. Right. He's going to be ejected from the room and I will name and shame him on Twitter later. Do follow him. He's a good lad. But there's been loads of people making comments here in combinations. One, Sam's made a comment here. He's a good guy. 2 points from 12, isn't it? Terrible form, but hopefully it turns around soon. That's a good point. Mark's made a comment. There is more to it than tiredness. There were players on the bench at Brighton. I've not played recently. Hall, Havertz, Werner, Sol could have started, for example. And actually, Sol run himself into form. I do think there is. I mean, we need to get to the bottom of the Havertz situation, the COVID, because it obviously hits him hard. I mean, if everyone suffered like Havertz, then I mean, no one would be at work because he really is under it, innit? I mean, doesn't like it at all. I don't know what it is. So he has struggled. I mean, I have to say, Werner. I mean, I'll say this quietly and probably not on Twitter because probably it'd be a brick through my window if I say anything about Werner. But his performance at Brighton, oh my God. He ran. One of the things he did, he actually miscontrolled it and ran into the defender. That was off camera, I think. He ran straight into someone. It was crazy. Like he just went up like he was on a stag do or something. It was absolutely mental. And I'm sorry. I'm going to say it right here. Look, I've been worried about that touch from day one. I'm all about giving the guy a chance, but
don't.
I think he's. I think he's a bit short of Chelsea. I think he's short of Chelsea level. I don't think he's quite good enough. I really don't. I think he's had so many chances. To really make it happen. He continues to look messy in football matches. I'm not a big fan. I'm someone who likes people who can get hold of the ball. That's my type of footballer, right? And I don't mind if you're not that. But he's so messy. He's so messy on the ball. It's so unreliable. You just can't trust that guy.
Stop saying messy. People will misunderstand what you're saying.
He's not messy. He's not messy. He's very clean.
I would persist with him personally because I think when he come on, there were 2 or 3 times that he ran at a fullback. And when I say he ran at a fullback, he literally ran at the fullback, like you said.
And then he fell over.
But at the same time, it was the first time in the game that someone received the ball.
Yeah.
And every time he received the ball, he went that way, as in towards their goal. And we don't do it.
Yeah, okay. I mean, look, we were talking about Tottenham. I don't want to get into players because it's very difficult quickly. I personally think my hunch would be Werner is sold in the summer. That is, I'm going to put it out there. I don't think he plays for Chelsea Football Club next season. Honestly, I don't think he does. I think the gamble I think that would be closer. How many games do you play for Chelsea, Scott? 100. How many games do you need to see? I mean, if you saw me reading out loud in church 100 times, I couldn't do it. You would say I wasn't made for the job. The reality is he can't do it.
I would say you've got 2 things wrong in the last 10 minutes. One, you could not play for Chesterfield, and 2, Timo Werner, no chance.
I'll tell you, you've got one thing wrong. Don't ever turn up to my unofficial pub with rhubarb gin again, giving it a big one. Swinging your dick, giving the big one in the dark. Don't be doing that. I'll tell you what, you'll be muted. You'll be chucked out the studio and I'll be talking to the guests. And as for Werner, I hope he does make it. I absolutely love it when I'm wrong. I want to be wrong. But I just think next 5 comments of people on the thing. Tell me, does Werner make it or not? 5 people, just say yes or no, apart from Rich, because he'll go, right, here we go. Here's one. Agree, even when Werner scores, he nearly misses. Chesterfield, for example, he tries hard. That's perfect. He does definitely try hard. He is, and there's nothing wrong with his work rate. Right, here's another guy. He's a straight no. He's a no, so he's with me. And here we go. We've got another guy. He's a no. So and then someone else is here. I won't post a comment saying, "Is he really drinking rhubarb gin? Is that a joke? He's meant to be chilled." No, no one said that.
So just to clarify, Is that it? Well, there are three people watching.
4. No, there's 20. There's 20 people watching. There's been
What?
20. There's been 25 people watching. Actually, we've had so many
Oh,
comments, and lots of people have been really cool. And then there's another guy. I mean, we know PD Blue. He's gone. I look, to be honest with you, I might be wrong. I hope I'm wrong. I'd love it if he scored 15 goals. I just think if you don't make it at Chelsea, it doesn't mean you're not a good footballer.
PD Blue, right? Ask the same question about Christian Pulisic. Go. Is Christian Pulisic Chelsea quality? Go.
Well, he'll get the question. He'll get it. He'll know that I actually think Pulisic is slightly different because he's only 22, isn't he?
What, 22?
And I think Werner's 26. And I just think also,
20,
I don't know.
22 ounces. The amount of times he gets pushed off the ball, what is he? 22 feathers?
Don't pick on Pulisic. Honestly, you're getting take your rhubarb gin. I'll tell you what. Right, just to say, this is an advert for a new co-host. We're looking for someone who's young, athletic, who doesn't drink rhubarb gin. Hold on. Yes, he stays as a squad player. That's all right. I'm all right with that. I think that's a really cool shout from someone
Talking
there.
about Timo.
I like the guy, Werner, work hard, yeah, and all that stuff, but unfortunately not for me. That's cool. And here we go. Someone's got here. I'm half American. Pulisic is gone too. Okay, fine.
Oh, thank you.
Pulisic is younger, but still a no for me. Right, I'll tell you what we'll do, because it gets unfair when you talk about players and everyone loses their marbles. And the reality is sometimes it's based on it's a commodity, how much their contract's due, how much they're costing the club. There's lots of things, there's sale value, there's loads of things that move into it. So a lot of times Chelsea can get the money back because, say, for example, an old club goes, do you know what, we'll pay you 40 million to have him back, and therefore it's taken, where it's not with another asset. So it's very difficult with players. I think at the end of the day, Scott made a really good point, which is one of only one in all 3 shows, which is not a bad ratio. He said that he felt that everyone has underperformed in those positions, and they can't say it fairer than that. No one is performing, so it makes it almost an impossible job for Werner, for TT at the moment, to do a job, because no one is performing. And when you combine lack of confidence as well, you've got a real problem. I'm just going to read a couple more comments, and then we're going to get on to Tottenham for 10 minutes before we wrap up, because you have to order a Chinese by 9 o'clock.
At 9 o'clock. Well, that's
so I'm on that, and that's the way we're working. So someone says a squad player. PD Blue is very supportive, to be fair. He's a good guy. Can be in time if he plays in position, but he'll be gone too. Well, there you go. He said he'll be gone too if he doesn't get the game time in the right place. He did. Do we get our forward signings wrong? Look, I think at times Chelsea have had a hoodoo.
Who said that?
Rob T, good guy. How do we get our forward signings wrong? I think it's a valid point. I mean,
30 years, that's been a valid point.
Oh, man. The only one, do you know the funny ones is, right? I mean, when you look back, I know, look, I did a little post, and I know you did yesterday. And at the time, can you believe how privileged Chelsea Football Club were? We were moaning about Anelka, right? We were moaning about Anelka going, oh, he's a misery guts. You have the wrong attitude. He got his head down. He worked hard. He played out of position half the time. Played on the left-hand side. He made it part of the 2, but he dumped out left a lot of the time because of Drogba. He still scored something like 65 goals in 180. He's 1 in 3. He had 40 assists. I mean, he wasn't great at penalties, but he didn't do anything wrong.
Great at penalties.
He missed a big one, didn't he?
Pass back in Moscow.
The thing is with Timo, hold on. The thing is with Timo is he's probably not Chelsea quality, but there are players that need to go before him.
Absolutely spot on.
Right.
Who said that?
Sam Williams. Can I just say Sam Williams next week will be presenting the show.
Knowledgeable person on the show.
I'm sacking myself. Sam's taking over from my role. Let yourself in the house. There's food in the fridge. I'm not welcome. You don't need this pencil because you look like a twat with that in your hand. So I'm going to take that out of my hand. You come and join the show next week. You can have rhubarb gin with those kind of comments. It's very, very useful stuff. It's worked as fuel tonight. It gets you all a bit punchy in the first 5 seconds of the show. Well done. Jamie knows his stuff. I think Werner and Pulisic will be gone in the summer. No, you got to speak to Sam. He's our man tonight. And Richard, now this is a very nice chap. He's been around Chelsea forever, Richard. You've met Richard, have you?
Yep. Well, no. I just know of him.
Yeah, no, he would met a few of them. I think you might have done. I think you were in a picture where he drinks in maybe the pensioners. I don't know. He's been around the club for a long time. He goes all the time. Hiya, fellas. Good double act. Rock on Sunday. Start with Lukaku. Put it on his shoulders.
What?
Put everything on his shoulders. Put a brain.
I tell you what. Look, it's a big game for him. A massive.
I wouldn't start with Lukaku.
No, well, I wouldn't. You know, I wouldn't.
No, I wouldn't start with Lukaku. I'd start with Kai Havertz, even if he's got COVID.
I'm going to say something that I think probably needs to be said. If there's nothing wrong, and if it has been just quashed, and if it was an error, and if he is, sorry, then play to his strengths. What I want to see if he does play the ball into his feet. I want to see Lukaku hold a defender off. He's big enough. Hold the defender off, get the ball into his feet, and do what Drogba did, which is essentially bring other players into the game. If he doesn't do that, if he doesn't do that, there is no point in having him in the side.
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, I made this video on him, and 15,000 people watched that, right? And hardly anyone. Well, you'd think loads of people give you grief on these videos if you make comment. Not one person gave me shit, because everyone was saying before he got, because he says this bollocks about he likes to run in the channels, and look, forget all that. Forget all that. I don't mind if you get played in behind. There's nothing wrong with that. You can make runs. I haven't got a problem, but you've got to show up. You've got to show up. Get your back to goal. Bring people into play. Link football. And at the end of the day, Didier Drogba became a club legend. From 75% of his passing was probably no longer than 15 yards. He never gave it away. He brought people in the game. He spun in behind. Do you remember one of my favourite goals for Chelsea? And actually, it's probably going to be something I'll talk about at the weekend. I'm actually doing my Chelsea with Chidge. On Saturday.
Looking back what? I beg your pardon?
With Stanford, Stanford Chidge, Fancast.
Yeah,
I'm doing my Chelsea thing with him.
He's an amazing man, but what on earth? Like, what is this?
Yeah, well, at the end of the day, I'm trying to digress, mate. I'm trying to, this is
about.
Sorry, I think there's been some sort of mistake here, Scotty. You're on probation here, fella. You're drinking at work. Yeah, this isn't real. This is non-alcoholic. You need to sharpen. Anyway, one of the things I was going to make.
I hope that no one watches it.
Well, no one watches. No, it's not a video. It's podcast.
Oh, good.
So don't worry about it. It's not like this. No, we're not kicking it back. We're not drinking rhubarb gin in the Redmond and Scotty pub.
By the way, Chidge, what a bloke. What an
he's an amazing guy. But what I wanted to say was, I'll probably talk about it the weekend, but one of my favourite goals for reactions and craziness, and for the time I've lost it, because I know me and you equally hate Man United the same. It's been a problem for a long time. It's in their top three anyway. Obviously, Drogba's goal in the cup final. I'd urge every single person online now to go and watch that goal. Not because it's Drogba's best goal, but this is how that clip is how Lukaku becomes a success at Chelsea Football Club. He takes it down, he rolls it in, he spins in behind, and he gets it over the top, and then he can finish. That's how he scored on the opening day at Arsenal. He had a touch, he bullied those two centre-backs who were like 9 stone soaking wet, rolled it out win, he got back in, and he had an easy finish. Like, he's overcomplicated the game.
The problem with that, though, fundamentally, is that if he takes a touch, rolls it, spins off, spins the ball out, depending on who he spins it to, it probably goes backwards. If he goes to Jorginho, he ain't getting it back. It's going back to Rudiger. And if he goes to Alonso's taking a touch and it's going back to the keeper. So that's why we have to play Havertz and Mount. We have to. They are in our best side. Regardless,
I mean, also Havertz's movement is impressive, and also people worry about the goals. At the end of the day, I'm more worried about that at the moment and how much you're running for it. And until Lukaku shows me he wants to play here, because that's effort and industry, I'm not worried about the goals. At the end of the day, if he had application work rate, got booked a couple of times, put it about, had a few sliding tackles. I bet the faithful, they're stupid. They'll be clapping him within 10 minutes. We're all fickle Chelsea fans. They won't be loving him. But if you don't try, the worst thing is not jumping for the header. One of my most famous achievements in my football career was the master of looking like I could go up for headers, looking like I was really trying and actually not doing much at all because I was too worried about my barnet. I used to sort of go like that. I used to sort of go, ooh! It was like that sort of attempt to try. And, it's one of those ones. So, right, Rob T, be nice to just see Lukaku try at least bully defenders. Well, I'm a big advocate for this. One of the things I like about, in fact, our centre-backs do it as well. 2 areas of the pitch where they're all areas of the pitch, but in the spine of the football pitch, you need nastiness, right? It's as simple as that. And we haven't got enough nastiness in our side. There's not enough. Apart from Rudy, who will put it on you. The rest of them are a little bit like
Cover's got it in him. Kovacic.
Yeah.
You wouldn't want to fuck with Kovacic.
No, but you can imagine the old days. I mean, I'm going to do a Legends video on Ivanovic. I mean, how hard is Ivanovic? I mean, I think Ivanovic probably could have been heavyweight champion in the world. He was one of those.
According to John Terry, who, let's be honest, John Terry didn't shy out of anything. John Terry said Ivanovic is the strongest player that he's ever watched, ever played with, ever played against. And ironically, and this might surprise you, my brain goes weirdly, by the way. Rio Ferdinand, not a Chelsea player, never will be. Guess who the strongest player Rio Ferdinand said? Strongest player he's ever played against. And this will surprise you.
Don't know.
Sergio Ramos. Apparently, Sergio Ramos is an absolute brick shithouse, and you can't move him. He's like made of stone. I was shocked.
Well, that's an odd scenario. They're at different ends of the pitches. You probably only saw him to wave at him.
Yeah.
Do you mean Aguero?
No, Sergio Ramos. Straight up, Rio Ferdinand said strongest player he's ever played against.
Can I let you into a little secret, right? Bit of a weird one. I'll tell everyone, all these 18 people, that I spent probably... Obviously, Ivanovic played right back, and I sit very low in the West Lower. In the old days, I used to sit gate 5. I was really, really close to the pitch. It was really good. It has some. You could hear the players talking, smell the grass, but you couldn't see much really. But the only thing I could see was the size of Ivanovic's arse and thighs, and I must have spoke about it probably every 3 weeks for about 10 years. The person I was with, I was like, "Have you seen?" And like the person used to say, "You say this every time." I was like, "Yeah, but look at the size of his bum. Like it wasn't. It wasn't like fat. It just looked like one of those things that was just like it was like a rock solid." Metamorphic rock. He's just literally so hard. If he smashed you, I mean, can you believe that Suarez tried to bite him? What a behave.
Suarez is just, I don't know. Suarez.
Anyway, look, someone else has put another column. It's really nice. A guy who does a show as well, which is he's a nice guy from the Shed End podcast. Brilliant show. I think the Club World Cup will help bring the squad back together. Yeah, that's a really good call. And do you know what you said about the break and the stuff? So let's quickly, before you have to go, and summarise, because obviously all these really nice people have taken the time out not to watch Watford. And what's the score?
0-0 half time.
I mean, pathetic. All the people who've taken the time out to comment, look, I really appreciate it because we're just getting started. It's nice to have some people who like listening and talking to the Chelsea. But in terms of the game at the weekend, and please put in the comments before you go, score. Name me one Tottenham player that you would have. We did this last week, but who did you say if you had to have one? Who would you have?
Jimmy Greaves.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's upsetting, though, isn't it? Jimmy's a Chelsea legend, but then he was more of a legend there. God rest his soul. Did a good show as well, didn't he? What do you think the score will be?
2-1 Chelsea.
2-1 Chelsea. Okay, fine. I personally think, and personnel-wise, do you think he's going to mix it up? Do you think there'll be changes? Do you think he'll bring in a few fresh faces, like the Souls, maybe, some just trying to mix it up or not?
It'll be Kepa, Azpilicueta, Alonso. It'll be Rudiger, Sarr, and Thiago. Oh, and it'll be Kovacic, Kante, Havertz, Mount, Werner. 2-1 Chelsea. We'll go 1-0 up, 1-0, 2-1, late winner.
Do you know what? It would make my life. It would be so funny after this if it's 88 minutes and Werner scores an overhead kick, and I've said literally, I'll have to. Oh my god, I'll have to. At the end of the day, this is the problem. You live by the sword, die by the sword. Right, let's have a look what people have said. 2-0, 2-1.
Oh, Gaza, whoever just said Gaza, yes.
Gaza, see, I mean, that's what I mean. Gaza, look, I was just asking what exactly. I would have had Gaza. I think in this day, do you know I would have had as well? And he probably wouldn't work in this day and age, but we've missed a lot of chances. I would have had Lineker.
Shall I tell you who we probably would sign in this current squad? Darren Anderton. He's exactly the kind of player that we'd spend 45
Do you know
million.
what though? This is a really good point, and this goes back to what PD was saying about Pulisic, and a lot of people have got it wrong, and sometimes we get it wrong. The body changes a lot with athletes as they get older, and under 25 you do find, and Darren Anderton, do your research, he was known, wasn't he, buddy? He was known as Sick Note. He was injured. He was known in the press. He was known as Sick Note. He didn't play hardly ever. He was a quality, a brilliant player. And then he got himself fit and he just kicked on and never got injured again. But he was a brilliant player. So lots can happen under 25. The body changes. I've got to read these out because there's so many good people who've taken the time to listen. So Zane, 2-1, would have Son in our squad. I'm with that. Easy.
He'd sell some shirts, wouldn't he? He'd sell some shirts.
PD Blues thinks it'll be 222-0. No, he doesn't. It'll be 2-0. Mark Carpenter 3-1. Love that. From the shed end 1-0. Werner winner. He's done that. Nice. I like what they've done. That's quite funny. That's an interesting one. Someone would have Modric.
Great. Well, what? Let's be honest. What a player.
Yeah.
What an absolute player.
I think that's a lovely one. Chelsea 1-0. Rudy, I think that's meant to be Screamer. Do you know what? I'm waiting for that. Do you know what? One of my favourite moments, quickly before you go, two things I remember about Tottenham. My favourite moments, you pick yours. One of mine of this is, we can see you sneaking out in the FA Cup semi-final at 5-1 or something like that. That was brilliant. But my favourite Tottenham moment, my whole life, unfortunately went on to not be a legacy hero for me, is definitely William Gallas. In the
2005, 2005. Yeah, what a goal! Shed end, cut inside.
When he run over to Mourinho, it was just that was up there.
Mine is. I was at Tottenham the day I started university. I can tell you the exact day. There was the 16th of September 2001, and drive up north like Manchester, and on that day it was Tottenham 2, Chelsea 3 at White Hart Lane, so I didn't get there till late. 93rd minute winner from Marcel Desailly. I went mental.
Lovely. Do you know that the best goal, before you go, the best goal I think I've ever seen a Chelsea player score against Tottenham, and William Gallas, is got to be Goldbeck's, hasn't it?
Oh my God, what a goal.
Oh, if you haven't seen that and you're too young, Laudrup got homesick. We got Goldbeck as part of the deal. Goldbeck 40. I'll tell you what I'll do. I might have a crack from 40. See how this goes.
Do you know what was so
goal
good?
That was at the Lane.
What made that better was that was during the run. What was that, like 99 odd? That was during the run where we hadn't lost to them since 1989 to 2006. And we were 2-1 down. David Ginola curled one in to put them 2-1. We were 1-0 up. Ginola scored 2-1 with about 10 minutes left. And he just unleashed a rocket.
Oh, you know, I'm going to watch that. I'm going to watch that. I'm going to
watch
the
goal.
And I'm going to watch the Gallas one just for the celebration. Right, 2 more before we go. I'm going to close the shop today because you need another rhubarb, Jim, because you're all mad.
I need to order my food.
Yeah, you got 3 minutes. Right, Chelsea, Tottenham, 2-0. Havertz would bloody believe Lukaku on the score sheet. Yeah, well, that's fine. I agree with that, Jamie. And Richard, who is such a good guy, 3-1 Chelsea. Put him on Lukaku to score. Would definitely have Gaza. Favourite Tottenham moment, Hazard running. Oh, yeah.
Yes.
What a way to end this. Do you know what, Richard? We found our co-host. It was Sam and Richard. They're the two people who've shined today. This is over. Sam, look at Sam. He's now creeping now. He's have a great evening because he knows he's got a job. He's got a job for life. Every single person who's tuned in is taking the time out not to watch Norwich and because it's
I'll
decent
watch
football
it.
by the looks of it. Thank you so much, Scotty. You are a charm, a joy, and an absolute breath of fresh air. One of the best things that happened to me on Twitter is knowing you. My most important thing now is to get rid of you and out of my life. Find a new co-presenter and someone who doesn't drink rhubarb gin.
Yeah.
On that note, I absolutely love you all. Take the best. Take the best. All the best. Up the Chelsea.
Up the Chelsea. Up the Chelsea. Up the Chelsea.
Up the Chelsea. Up the Chelsea.